Hey everyone, today I have the new V-Cube 8, and this has been a cube that has been anticipated for about 5 years now. Okay. And here it is! Some more of their nice fancy packaging. Wow, look at that thing. Alright. Wow. Wow, the inner layers turn pretty nice. Outer layers feel a bit rough, but let's see if we can get some lubrication in there as well as some breaking in. I wonder if... Oh, fascinating! It looks like there is a unique kind of mechanism in there. I won't go into detail now, but I'm pretty surprised about that. I will show you this though. Look how far down in there the screw is. Not sure if you can see it. Yeah, there it is. Man, that's really surprising. I didn't expect to see that at all. Let's see how corner cutting is. So, yeah, pretty good. Wow, that's pretty decent corner cutting there. No, not that far. Not quite that far. Yeah, wow, that's pretty neat. So I'll be sure to play around with this, lubricate it, break it in, and get back to you guys when I know more about it. Alright, so I've had the cube for a week now, and I must say that I like it. It is so much fun to finally have an 8x8 now. Now, I was a bit surprised by how big it is, because compared to the other V-Cubes, this thing is massive. I mean, look at it just compared to the V-Cube 7. It doesn't look like the layers are really any different in width, so I'm really surprised they didn't try to make all the pieces smaller, although that may be because it would just become too unstable and maybe even the pieces might break. And one problem that I have with the size is just turning this layer here is a bit tricky, whereas every other layer is much more easier to manage, but these outer two layers is a bit tricky, and it took some time before I finally got used to turning those outer layers. Now as for turning, corner cutting seems to do pretty well on this. These inner layers are a little bit tricky, they catch a little bit on each other, and the inner layers are just so slick though. And I'm sure that's because of the 2x2 mechanism that's inside it. More on that later though. But as for inner or reverse corner cutting, it doesn't fare so well, and that's probably to be expected on a larger cube like this. Now another inevitable thing that you'll get on 8x8s is that if you get the layers misaligned, it's always so nice when you can just shake it back and forth and get it aligned. And this seems to do pretty decently. But sometimes the pieces can catch, and just like on the V-Cube 7, they can pop out. The pieces are usually easy enough to put back in though. But this used to be a lot worse when I first got the cube, and I ended up having to go down to the screws down inside of it and tighten all of the layers, and then it vastly improved. And before I tensioned it, I had several large explosions like this. Yeah. So if these inner layers here seem to turn really smoothly, but not so much on the outer layers, then I would highly recommend you tighten those. But that's also really neat to see that a large V-Cube actually came out with an adjustable core in it. Now, as for the stickers, they are just as bad as they were on the V-Cube 4. Like, I was playing with this with greasy hands once, and you can kind of see that some of the grease soaked underneath this outer layer and into it, and it's just like, yeah, that wouldn't have happened with typical vinyl stickers. Now, so far I haven't found a place with decent replacement stickers. Now, this cube did come with some extra stickers, but if I'm really gonna take the time to remove all of these stickers, I would really want to have some assurance that they would stay on for a while, like CubeSmith tiles do. For perspective, I've solved this maybe about 10 times so far, and you can see that they are starting to peel. It's not too bad, but it would have been nice to see some higher quality stickers on this. Alright, now to give you guys an accurate perspective of the turning quality, I'm going to solve just one center. Alright, so I'm going to start with the white center. Where's that? There it is. There we are. So I hope you guys can gauge how well the cube turns now. If you would like to see a complete solve, then click on the annotation or the link in the description below. Alright, now it's time to give you a look of the mechanism. So you take out these two edge pieces, just like you do on the VCube 7. And then you can just start ripping about every other piece. Okay, pop out a corner piece. There we are. And almost the top layer is removed. So unlike the traditional V-Cube mechanism, this one actually has an inner 2x2 in it that holds the centerpieces. Then these can even be removed. And inside the 2x2 is another 3x3. And these centerpieces also have little springs in them. Now, when I first saw this, I realized that there was a remarkable similarity to the 4x4 called the Diane plus MF8 4x4. Apart from all of the extra pieces on the outside, this is almost identical to that. This worried me at first, but a VCube representative on the Speed Solving forum claimed that they collaborated with MF8 to use the design. So it was really neat to see them use this design. It certainly solves the problem of an inner layer getting out of alignment, which happens in the VCube 6. Alright, so now time to take the rest of it apart. Oh, I shudder to think how long this is gonna take to reassemble. And here we are. So this basically works just like a 2x2 does. Now, something that threw me off when I was trying to tension this cube is I noticed that there were some screws that were deeper than others, and it was a lot harder to get those to screw in tighter. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this apart. Looks like it'll be a bit tricky to get the edges to pop out with the corners above it, so I'll just unscrew it here. There we are, so the centerpiece. And that's what a corner piece looks like, so looking just like it does in the VCube 2. So it looks like from the base of the corner here that it doesn't use the typical VCube spherical design. What this has down here is a convergence of 3 cylinders, so one like this, one like that. So that's a bit surprising, and I can tell that because there is a ridge right there, and it's not just a smooth sphere. Keep in mind, though, that the base of the corners still have the complete spherical design. It's just the inner 3x3 that doesn't. But again, they collaborated with MF8 to produce this, so. Alright, and so this is what the bare bones of the cube looks like. So it looks like there are no springs in these deeper screws. So I was trying to tighten those, and I guess that would have done nothing. So I guess if you want to tighten it, only tighten the screws that you can only see closer instead of the screws that are deeper in the cube. So, to understand why this core looks like this, remember that I said that this was basically like a 3x3 inside of a 2x2. So let's take a VCube 3 here, and whenever you use a 3x3 to make a 2x2, you're gonna have the problem of the inner layer getting out of alignment. So what you can simply do on a 3x3 though, is just connect these corners, edges, and centers together, so that way when you're turning this layer, it's always gonna move the inner layer with it. But a problem on larger cubes when you do this is that when you turn the outer layer, the inner layer is going to turn with it, and this would create a lot of friction. But having a 3x3 inside of a 2x2 inside of the 8x8 solves this problem because the outermost layer doesn't interfere with it. Just turning these inner layers would. Alright, so enough about the mechanism. Time to get this thing back together. Ah, there we go. So it really wasn't as difficult to assemble as I thought it would be, but I'll probably upload a tutorial about it nonetheless. Now, if you ever assemble this, keep in mind to make sure that all of the corners are in their solved positions. Otherwise, it'll be unsolvable and you have to take it apart some to orient the last corner. But everything else can be perfectly random. So, for my final opinion, I would definitely recommend getting this cube. Now, currently it cost me nearly $90 ordering directly from the VCube website, and that's with the exchange rate of having to convert from euros to dollars, and the shipping fee, and there's a slight little processing fee too. So I would wait until this would come out on Amazon because 90 bucks is a bit pricey. But if you're someone like me and likes to get the newest puzzles, then yeah, definitely go for it right away. And this is definitely the 8x8 to get, because it is the most legit version out there. So if you want to support original design, get the V-Cube 8. Alright, well if you guys found this review helpful, I invite you to check out some of the other reviews I've made in this playlist right here, or you can even subscribe to be notified of future videos. Thanks for watching!